You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
3 dead, 4 wounded, and they mummified the oldest one.
Oh, really? Well, we've got Newcastle here on the board. You say this is the setup from the most recent fixture?
This is what Graham Jones played in the last game. Okay. And what we're going to do now, I think, is look at where they can clearly improve it and what they want to keep from what they already have.
Well, where are the deficiencies? Because we have January coming up. We assume that the new owners are going to be buying players. We don't know who the manager will be by this time, or the coach, but we think the areas of interest are obvious anyway, right?
Yes. So important things with squad building is they don't want to sign too many players at once. They want to identify probably 3 or 4 key players that they can come in and improve the team straight away. But because the squad just isn't very good, it's not like Wilson's a good player, St. Maximin's a good player, Lascelles is decent, and the goalkeeper's all right. The rest of them, honestly, he
Sean Longstaff?
Sean Longstaff, you could keep because if you're keeping players to build around, you could keep Longstaff in the squad because he's young, he's from Newcastle's academy, he connects the fans to the players, which is really important in this sort of environment. Young English players are important to keep because of homegrown reasons. It helps with your squad registration stuff, kind of boring accountancy stuff.
Sure.
In terms of players you want to keep, I mean, Willock, because they've invested a lot of money in, but whether that's even relevant now because they have all the money on earth.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's not really relevant. But there's a lot of players they can pretty much, they'll be there for now because you can't just get rid of human beings and like to
I mean, put it this way, in February we're not going to see a team that has the highlighted players and everyone else has changed.
Yeah, so I think the first things that we look in the January window is where they can improve. Now, centre-back would be one thing they can do. If they're going to play in this counter-attack system, they don't have to play it in a back three. They can play a counter-attack 4-2-3-1. If you base it around how kind of Manchester City, when they first got their new owners with lots of money, they bought a big Robinho signing called Robinho, and they signed a bunch of other players who were like Vincent Kompany they had, Zabaleta came in, Sean Wright-Phillips, I think Wayne Bridge. But I think the key is not to go, they can't aim too high. So there'll be a few categories of player they can sign. There'll be players that are at a big club who don't play anymore, which we can come into some of these examples. There'll be players who are coming towards the end of their contract, who conceivably they're looking for either a big pay rise at the last, say you're 29, 30-ish, and you're coming to the end of your contract.
Yeah.
You're probably only going to get one more big contract. So you want to maximise your earning potential.
Wilf Zaha.
Wilf Zaha's kind of player, I don't know, maybe, that's kind of thing.
I just think it's an example of someone who, is probably reaching the stage of his career where he's got one contract left in him.
Maybe, I would say more likely, and for what they're looking for, and has been touted quite a lot, is James Tarkowski. So he's at Burnley, coming to the end of his contract, he's a good age, could come in quite conceivably and replace like Kieran Clark and get the hell out of there.
Yeah. And
straight away that's that. He tends to play in a 2, I've not seen him play in a 3.
No.
That's another example of a player you could sign.
I mean, he had Lascelles and Tarkowski together though. I mean, that's a pretty solid 2, isn't it? You don't really need a 3.
That's decent enough, yeah. It's still kind of, I would say, lower mid-table.
Sure.
So, I mean, it depends what's available. I mean, other players I've been looking through lots of contracts of players. Nicolas Sula at Bayern's coming to the end of his contract.
Really?
Yeah, he's a good player. Also, Alessio Romagnoli at AC Milan. Where's the one I liked? Oh yeah, Jason Denayer.
Right.
He plays at Lyon, he's Belgian, ball-playing defender. I don't think he'd be too expensive, especially because, the French clubs tend not to have an awful lot of money.
Sure, and there's a, minor crisis at the moment.
There's a crisis?
Well, there's a minor financial crisis in France, isn't there, which
French
leagues, which makes players slightly more available than they otherwise would be.
Well, that as a 3 is strong. It's a ball-playing defender. I mean, you saw him play at Belgium at the Euros.
The other thing about Tarkowski as well is he's better with the ball than people give him credit for. I know he plays for Burnley, but actually he could play out from the back.
Yeah, I mean, I think most Premier League defenders probably can.
Sure.
He is just a good defender and solid. And then what I think you'd be looking at next is, rather than trying to sign specifically a midfielder or a winger or whatever, you just look at what's available. I think the fullback positions are poor. So Richie's still playing there on the left. Manquillo, I would just get rid of. And then players you could bring in straight away, for example, players at a club who aren't playing anymore. Colin Dagba, good old Colin. Right. He's a right back, he's French, he's high potential.
Where's he from?
He's PSG.
Right.
Now, he'd be available, possibly, but then you have to think, what's this player's ambition? So if you're signing a player from a big club that hasn't been playing, is it because they're not good enough to get to that level? So what's their actual level anyway? Are they going to be motivated to play for Newcastle?
Yeah.
Depends, you got to work out who it is you're signing. But Dagba would be an example of a player who might fit in straight away. Then in midfield, another player who's not playing much at a big club, Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Remember him?
At Juventus right now?
Yeah. No, you think, this is the thing, that Ramsey's played Champions League, he's won titles now in Italy, he has won cups with Arsenal.
Sure.
He's an instant improvement on Sean Longstaff or Isaac Hayden, so we can go there. There's a player they've also been linked with, another category of player, just like not top tier level.
Am I supposed to ignore the setup right now? You've got Ramsey in the 6 there, have you?
I'm just freewheeling.
Sure.
Living on a dream.
All right, Bob Dylan, you carry on.
Well, you could play here as like an 8, maybe next to Hayden. I mean, this isn't a specific tactical analysis. This is just players they could buy.
Sure, yeah.
But if you want to be specific, if they don't play in this 3-4-3, which I'd imagine they'll keep doing.
I always want to be specific.
Well, I'm glad. I'm going to be specific about a midfielder they could buy and are linked with. Can't remember his first name. Marcelo Brozovic.
Oh, Brozovic. The Croatian international team, of course.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, he is at Inter Milan, who need money.
Yes, they do.
Another category of player they could sign is players at clubs who need to bring in some funds. Clubs like Inter Milan, that'd be a good little 2 there, Ramsey and Brozovic.
Oh, it would be nice.
Isn't that a better team already?
It would be nice.
You've
Yeah,
got the pace of Fraser, Wilson, St. Maximin already.
Yeah.
Well, how about if you bring another attacker in here from another club that could do with some money? This might change because they just fired Ronald Koeman.
Oh.
But think of Barcelona.
Ousmane Dembele?
Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah, lots of rumours about that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Do you think he could be the sort of Robinho style signing, the large signing?
I think so, because St. Maximin also needs to play on this left side. That's where he's best. So Fraser can go away. And look at that team.
Dembele cuts inside from the right with his left foot.
There's the thing, like he's been injured, so he needs to go to a place where he can play. He's still, I think, thought of highly at Barcelona because he was a very expensive player and is really good. But then whoever comes in as the manager there, this might change what happens. Coutinho is the least good fit, is that a sentence?
Sure.
For Barca and the way they play.
Yeah.
So he could be available and he'd be a lot of money. He played as a 10.
The issue I have with Coutinho, though, and other players of his position, is that when you buy a 10 like that, particularly if it's Coutinho, they have to play Coutinho. It forces them to play in a certain... It basically limits what they can do. Then he's not as adaptable as you would want him to be.
Well, that's it. And I don't think he suits the counter-attack style of play either. I mean, he's played in teams that have possession of the ball. We've seen him at Liverpool. He's very good there, making things happen out of nowhere. You need to do a lot of defending if you're playing a counter-attack team.
Yeah.
But if you put him in here, that was signed. I mean, this is getting a bit nuts now.
Well, they'd have 12 players, which would help.
Well, Lascelles is not allowed there. He's gone.
Right.
Look at this. That could be a team. And the only ones they've kept are Dubravka, St. Maximin, Wilson and Ritchie.
And what do you think they've spent about 200 million at this point?
Yeah, that's about 100 million.
Yeah. Hey, let's put it this way,
Yeah,
right? 2 more things to do. One, I'm going to say to you, of these players here, let's assume that they could bring 3 in and not all of this calibre.
Yeah.
Which 3 players, or positions at least, do you think are the most important for them to address in January? Defender, you said first?
I think centre-back.
Yeah.
I think that they're okay with the attackers they've got. So Maximin, Wilson. I think they could do with someone that bridges the gap between midfield and attack.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 10 or someone who's just someone like Ramsey would be perfect. The box-to-box and attacking midfielder would be fantastic. So,
other options, Dele Alli potentially doesn't seem to have much of a future at Spurs as it stands at the moment. Jesse Lingard, who's not really playing at all for Man United, and we believe was available for West Ham at the right price. They just didn't want to stump the money up because it was very expensive.
Oxlade-Chamberlain at Liverpool.
Oxlade-Chamberlain at Liverpool too.
These are another sort of players who just can't break into the first team really.
Yeah.
I think. Callum McGregor at Celtic could be a good buy for anyone just to control the midfield. They've got loads of options, but again, this is too many players. You want to sign probably 3 or 4. And so if they were to sign, you'd think Ramsey might be available. Players who don't play at the moment very much. Ramsey, a right back's probably important, especially if they want to not play the back 3 and change to a 4.
Yes.
Depends on the managers and what they like, and that manager will probably have players that they have in mind. And I'd imagine they might also even bring in early someone with a lot of experience, who I can't have any examples of right now, just a seasoned international who can come in and set standards for winning and what is expected of a team who is better than one who finishes 17th every year.
Well, there are several players here that could do that.
Yeah.
We've got Willock over there, we got Joe Linton. Newcastle have a decent squad in parts. I assume we're going to start to see, maybe not Willock, but some of these other players phased out over time.
It'll take a while. Some of them have big long contracts and not everyone's going to want to leave and go somewhere.
Joe Ellington's got 4 years left, I think.
Yeah, and a big amount of money as well, because they thought he was going to be really good. I think, I don't know what's going to happen with that. It really depends on whatever manager comes in, if they want to play and be more defensive, they're going to try and bring in probably better defensive players. So Maximin, they've got a good player. Wilson, they've got a good player. Almiron is fast.
I mean, Willock, they've got a player who could particularly, he's still developing, of course, and made a big difference in
It's important than last season, yeah. And the bridge between midfield and attack kind of helps there.
Young chap.
Yeah, I think basically what they might just do is see who's available, who's willing to come, and then just spend their money sensibly that way.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Probably sum this up in about 2 minutes, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, I guess there's no point really doing it.
Yeah.
Haunted, you said?
Yeah, several large ghosts.
Tifo merch, coming to find what you're looking for. Tifo merch, put it on your body and drink out of it. From the grasslands of Australia to the peaks and plains of Antarctica and through the rivers of North America comes a shop of merch that is so damn cool that it's really cool. So cool you have to buy all the merchandise. Buy the merchandise. Come in and buy all our merchandise. Merchandise. Looky right here, there's merchandise. Put your merchandise. Gotta get your hands on the merchandise. Merchandise. Buy the merch.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions and podcasts. Not to mention, it's all ad-free. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.